Well, hello again and welcome to St James's Park. Yeah, this place certainly feels different ahead of tomorrow night in the Champions League. Just look at the world's media all around us here. Flags in the stands, Lauren Robert and David Ginola casually mixing amongst us press guys, and a certain Kylian Mbappe out there on the pitch too. In fact, it's so cold here, it's as low as 16 degrees. Mbappe has just asked for some gloves to be delivered to him. So yeah, we hope it's an equally a frosty reception tomorrow night too. But yeah, I must admit, I said this in the video a couple of weeks ago. We really hoped Mbappe played, and Luis Enrique has just been asked as to his star striker's fitness there. Is he 100%? To which Luis Enrique said, "Si, oui, yes," in all three languages. So there you go, leaving us in no doubt. We also spoke a lot to Kieran Trippier, a hell of a lot about Kylian Mbappe. He didn't seem particularly enamoured with the deluge of questions, bearing in mind Trippier is in his own right a star, and he wasn't about to conform to the star-struck narrative. But he did give us a very nice line when I asked him, has your little boy Jacob, your 6-year-old, mentioned Mbappe as much as us guys have to you in the past few minutes? And he said, well, last night they were talking and his little boy revealed that he's a mascot tomorrow night, revealed that he wants to walk out with Mbappe instead of his dad. And Kieran said, well, if you do that, don't dare look at me in the tunnel, son. So yeah, really nice stuff there, and it all just builds up another layer of intrigue, isn't it? Mbappe versus Trippier tomorrow night, another subplot as to what is the most fascinating fixture of this week's round of Champions League games. I'll be back in a few minutes with a little bit more, telling you what Eddie said in terms of news, what Luis Enrique said, what Kieran Trippier said. We've just spoken to them all downstairs there, so plenty to go at. I'll see you again in a couple of minutes. Okay. Now, 16 degrees, by the way, that's the temperature at which most Geordies remove layers, not add them. So goodness knows how Mbappe is going to feel tomorrow night when we've heard the temperatures are going to drop as low as 11 degrees. Wow. Poor guy will be freezing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm bringing you behind the scenes here. This is the Newcastle United St James's Park press room. This is, for the purposes of the tape, the interrogation suite. So yeah, we'll just have a little wander through. And as I said to you earlier, yeah, the news items to emerge from this, well, Eddie was first up to speak, and of course it was the injury update. A little word earlier in the day that Sandro Tonali hadn't trained. Now, Eddie was asked that question and he was pretty brief and just said Sandro's fine. We'll have to wait and see on that front. There was some talk earlier, certainly one or two things I'd heard, that there was a slight injury concern there. So we'll have to wait and see. Picture of Kath there, the old tea lady over her shoulder. God bless her. Brilliant character. Passed away a few years ago, but no, she was wonderful. She really was. Yeah, elsewhere, how she would have loved to have seen Champions League football back at St James's, which we're going to enjoy tomorrow night as well. Will Sven Botman, will Joe Linton, will Callum Wilson be out there on the pitch enjoying it? No, we don't think so. Sven Botman definitely out. We revealed at the weekend, didn't we? Looking at 3 weeks on the sidelines. Eddie has confirmed that. Callum Wilson, Eddie said they expect not to see him play, but they will make a late decision. Likewise, Joe Linton. Now we know Eddie's fun and games when it comes to fitness, and Joe Linton and Callum Wilson could well be in the starting 11 if we go to form with regards Eddie and injury news. But no, I honestly think that Wilson and Joe Linton probably won't play. They certainly won't start tomorrow night anyway. So yeah, that will mean I would probably expect to see the same starting 11 who played against Burnley on Saturday, and they did well, of course, didn't they? But when it comes to forecasting what is going to happen in this game, and I've bumped into a couple of watchers of this channel in the last couple of days, and you guys say, what do you think will happen on Wednesday night? I honestly haven't got a clue. I could stand here now and make a convincing case. I'll start with the negative first, for Newcastle getting beat, because while they've run a great run. Listen, they've won the last 3 since Milan. They've won 4 the last 5. They've kept 5 clean sheets on the spin. Of course, they're in a good place confidence-wise. They've got good momentum. But have they been at their fluent very best during those games? Well, no. And coupled with the fact that they are missing key personnel, and you know what I think of Sven Botman, the difference he makes to the team. Joe Linton as well, that physicality. When he played last week against Man City, you thought a week on against PSG. It would be a game you would be ready for and would come back into. Well, without those two, and probably the option of Wilson or Isak at one point during the game, and they're up against the best opposition this time of all those previous 5 matches, and Kylian Mbappe, you could make a case, you could convince yourself that actually this is going to be a real difficult one for Newcastle, and if Mbappe just gets half a sniff, you probably will punish Newcastle, and Newcastle still have been coughing up, as much as the clean sheets have been there, they have conceded chances at times in those games. On the other side of the coin, I can stand here now and tell you I think Newcastle are going to win tomorrow night, and because of that, some of the reasons I've just touched on there, the 4 victories out of 5, the 5 clean sheets, the momentum, the feel good, and the St James's factor. I've just been out there in the stadium, you look around, the war flags, everything's in place, it's going to be absolutely bouncing here. The anticipation out there is building. Okay, there's about 1,000 fans on the steps waiting to see Kylian Mbappe, but it just shows the level of interest there is around the games. I was on the town moor last night, walking across there with my little boys, and there was hundreds, if not thousands of people walking towards St James's just to see a light show, the Cellar Light drone show above the stadium. That shows you just how much anticipation there is and how much want there is to be involved in Newcastle United right now. It was a brilliant communal event, and for my little boys to experience that and just to feel that sense of community, that everyone marching together as one across the moor, was quite something to behold. And for an 8-minute light show, I joked, I bumped into a couple of people there, you're joking, well, there mustn't be much else going on in our lives if the whole city, if every living room is emptied to go and watch an 8-minute drone show. But no, again, that just serves to highlight the point that by the time we do come to kick off in here tomorrow, it's going to be absolutely jumping. And how will Paris Saint-Germain and Mbappe handle that? Well, 26 years ago, Luis Enrique was just sat there and spoken to us. He was part of the Barcelona team, beaten 3-2 by a Newcastle side. And I watched the highlights back of that the other day, and that Newcastle team wasn't great. It was a year after the entertainers, really. It was I don't want to do any names down of anyone who played that night because they're all heroes, but go back and look at the team sheet. It wasn't a vintage Newcastle side, that yet they pulled off arguably the most famous victory in the club's European history. So there's all the reasons why Newcastle can win tomorrow night. I'm not going to predict anything. I don't know. I just want to enjoy it, and that's as a journalist as well. This is, wow, what a game this is to be covering there. You've just sat and spoken to Eddie Howe, Kieran Trippier, Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique, by the way, was really respectful of Newcastle. He said this was the one pot 4 team they didn't want to come up against. And like I say, he's experienced that atmosphere 26 years ago. He played and scored for Barcelona that night, and he actually said a really nice line. He said he was jealous of his players because they're going to get to experience that. He called it a hostile atmosphere, but hostile in a sporting sense. And he said he was jealous because they're going to get to experience all of that tomorrow night, and hopefully all of us guys will too. I really can't wait. It promises to be brilliant. Well, what else did Eddie say? He said that his team are going to have to be perfect to win tomorrow night, and I got where he was coming from with that, because while he can allow early chances against Sheffield United and win 8-0, you can allow early chances against Burnley and recover to have what felt like the most routine 2-0 victory. Yeah, I just think you can't allow those sorts of moments against a team that includes Kylian Mbappe, as cold as he might be tomorrow night. So wow, there is just so much to look forward to. My preview in the Daily Mail, I'll put that on screen now when I talk about Kieran Trippier and the question I asked him with regard to his little boy. So yeah, just a real sense of excitement, and there's going to be so much to come on Daily Mail tomorrow night. There'll be on match reports, there'll be focus pieces on Newcastle, quotes, video, everything else. So keep on watching, guys. Thanks again for the interaction the last few days. We'll have one last little spin through here. Please leave your predictions below the line on this. It'll be fun to revisit, because like I said, I don't have a clue, but we'll be back here tomorrow night, and Eddie Howe and Luis Enrique will be sat in those seats there behind us, and who knows what they'll be reflecting on. So okay, guys, thank you again, take care, and I'll see you in 24 hours time. Bye bye.